Okay, guys, I'm going to try to go through pretty quickly this photo program called Photopea. Um, I'm sorry, it's called PhotoP. I keep mispronouncing it. Photop.com brings you to this window. You click on Open or Open from URL. I'm not sure which is the Chromebook way to do that. This might take you to your Google Drive, or this one might, or they might both be the same for you. It opens up a whole lot of file types, almost every kind of image file there is. So it's pretty powerful in that regard. Let me take you right into this. I have done a whole lot of work here on this photo of my dog, Dolly, and I want to go through it a little quicker for you. It's a long video that I made, and I think I can shorten it up. Okay, so I'm going to go over the workflow that we're going to be using to edit our photos. So this is a digital photo editing software, very similar to Photoshop, and it's web-based. It's free on the internet. You can use it on your Chromebook. First thing I want you to do when you open up a picture is go to the crop tool. And if you notice here, this is an alright picture, but it's not exactly straight. I like straight horizons. So we're going to draw a box, and I'm going to turn it until this windowsill is straight. This line up here goes straight up, and I'm gonna I can't find the setting, but I'm gonna try to imagine the rule of thirds spot on Dolly's eye. So let's move that over, bring that down a little bit, bring that up. I double clicked and it says delete cropped images. Delete cropped pixels. I click check mark. And that straightened the picture out. Actually, I think it might have turned it a little too far the other way, but we'll just keep going. There's two image adjustments I want you to worry about. Levels and curves. There's other ones we will get into in the future, but for right now, levels and curves do almost the same thing. They adjust how bright the whiter pixels are, how dark the darker pixels are, and the midtones. So you can darken a picture by just making all the in-between pixels darker or lighter. You can lighten a picture up quite a bit like that. So that's adjusting the midtones. Usually you want to lighten up the midtones. Down here, you can make the dark pixels not so dark and the white pixels not so white. And what that does is it makes the image flatter. It reduces the contrast. And usually you want to do the opposite. I'm going to reset this. Go back to the original. And I'm going to show you curves. And you're free to use levels. I've been taught to use curves, and it does about the same thing. This is how you lighten your image with lighten your midtones using curves. You grab the center line here and move the dots straight up in the center. And when making adjustments in Photoshop or Photopea, small adjustments are better. You can always go back and do small adjustment after small adjustment. All right, I just did that. I'm going to go through it again. After I lightened it, now the histogram looks different. And I'm going to add an S-curve. So if you kind of see, that dramatically adds contrast. And what I'm looking for is the smallest hint of a little S-curve in there, and that adds contrast to the image. All right, so I've added a little bit of contrast. Now let's have a tiny bit of fun. There's all kinds of photo manipulation stuff in Photoshop. If you see your toolbar here, why don't you just go ahead and play with some of these tools? Eraser tool, background eraser, that kind of thing. Clone stamp, brushes, spot healing. This is pretty amazing that they have this on here. We didn't have spot healing in Photoshop when I was growing up. Take a look at what this does. So with all these tools, use the brushes. So if you click over here, you get to choose your brush. Hardness is how hard the edges are. Okay. Size of the brush. Okay. Take a look at that. And it froze, and it did a little bit of thinking, and it might take longer on your Chromebook, but I just took away that eye booger. Okay, speaking of taking longer on the Chromebook, I'm going to show you how to improve the performance. So File, or let's say image size. Now this is how many pixels this image is made out of. And when you do this, you can't really go back, I don't think. I'm going to bring this down. I just made the biggest number there, 2000 instead of 3700. And I'm going to click OK. Now that shrinks the size of the picture in pixels. But if I go to the magnifying glass and I go pixel to pixel, it's still a huge file. It's still very large. 2000 pixels across is what I used to send into the Herald Leader after manipulating them, just so it would go over the internet faster, and it was still large enough to make the newspaper. Let's click Fit the Area. Okay, so now I've got a smaller file size. And I'm going to go File, Export as JPEG. And we will talk about all these file types that are available now. But JPEG's been around for a long time. Everybody can read a JPEG, can put JPEGs on the internet. I like to bump the quality up into the 90s over here. Attach metadata, keep that little box checked, and we'll talk about that later. And click Save. And then it should save it to your Chromebook, and that's what you're going to submit. Thank you for watching.